AP, what in the world, what kind of game did we have here today, man, for this SEC championship?
Well, Georgia was on fire. I mean, those dogs were barking and biting. Jake Fromm was on target. The receivers were catching the passes. The runners were making good reads to look for the openings. The line was blocking. Their defense was fired up, slowing down Alabama. Alabama, conversely, was dropping some passes. Tua was off slightly. The running game, I thought, was effective, but they didn't go to it enough in the first half. And Georgia jumped all over them.
Well, when we talk about that first half, when you're missing passes like that, I'm just going to say Bama didn't look like Bama, right? So that means Georgia had to be doing something to them that kind of threw them out of kilter.
Yeah, it was interesting. Their receivers were catching the ball. Their tight end made big plays. You would thought that's what would happen with Alabama. All their receivers making big plays. And then Irv Smith, of course. Irv had a big drop. The receivers dropped the ball. And it was like they were the big brother in this game. But Alabama came back in that second half. The receiver started to catch the football. Josh Jacobs made some nice runs in the first half to kind of lead him back and then continued in the second half. Then we had Tua get injured, sprained his ankle. He had a sprained ankle earlier, I think, in the game. Then somebody rolled on him, his own teammate, I believe. And here comes Jalen Hurts, the man with 26 wins as a starter.
You said who came in? Jalen Hurts, the forgotten guy?
Hurts, the forgotten guy, number 2, but number 1 in our hearts tonight.
Now, isn't that something? Think about that, though. I mean, this is a guy that just displayed so much class, so much patience, and, didn't panic and run away, sat around, and when his bell or when they called on him, all he did was come off the bench, walked on the field so patient, and just took over and won the game for Alabama.
I think he made some of the best throws I've ever seen him as an Alabama quarterback. I mean, that one to Irv Smith over the middle late in the game, and Irv had dropped the ball in the first half.
Yeah.
He was bound in the tournament. I was watching him specifically. He grabbed a hold of it and wrestled it from the defensive back or the linebacker. But Jalen was very accurate. He kept us calm and brought the team back, and they won the game. So it's an unbelievable story because both quarterbacks contributed in this game, even though Tua was slightly off. You saw Jalen Waddle, that magical freshman, number 17. Houston and Houston were on fire tonight. Jalen Hurts and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, exactly. But, that was a very interesting play in the first half that I want to go back to. The interception that Tua threw down here at the end zone. Boy, I thought that was a key play in the whole game. I think if Alabama scores right there, it's a normal day for them. You get that momentum and you probably jump out to a lead. But that didn't happen. What was your thoughts about that play?
Yeah, the defensive back broke on the football and took it away from Jalen. He wasn't able to knock it down, playing defensive back as an offensive receiver. And you're right. If they had scored at that moment, maybe Alabama would have rolled them.
Well, that's been their, what they've done all year long. But that play I thought was, for me, I kind of thought in my mind, I think it's Georgia's day.
Absolutely. Georgia had a good plan. The only thing I disagreed with Kirby Smart was the 4th down and 11 with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go. I think that was the time on the clock. And his team was right in the ball game, and then he called that play. He said it was a good play. We spoke to him in the press conference, and he said it was there, but they waited too long to snap the football. And that happens sometimes. Someone moves into position, and then they make the tackle. Whereas a second ago, they might have been to the left or to the right or the center, and they were going right or left. But Alabama was in their safe defense, and I asked Nick Saban about that, if he'd seen on film where they went for it on 4th down. They had,
right.
Not that particular play, but they were prepared for some type of fake.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I asked Kirby Smart that question in the press conference yesterday. As a coach, how do you not overthink it sometimes?
I think when he looks back at this, he may not say it publicly, but he's going to realize that my team was playing fairly well defensively, even though Alabama was coming back. I should have made them drive the field and beat us, not on my coaching decision to give them the ball at midfield and a chance at a short drive or a field goal to win the game.
Well, I have to give him credit for something. I don't know if everybody's looking for that play at that time, so sometimes you may, overthink it or think about it. But that's a play I think he's seen the legend get away with. The legend makes those calls, right? Because it's a hero or GOAT call.
Correct.
And the legend, he's done this twice and got away with it. So I
Yes.
think when you're sitting there, I think you have to realize or think about it at some point. This is great coaching. This is the development piece for that.
He had to have that in his plan, I'm sure. What can I do to not stay pat? What can I do with my football team to give them an edge? And I'm sure that was in his deck of cards to pull out that ace.
Pull out that ace.
But it was a
But that sucker was a joker.
It was a joker. You got that right, Craig. Absolutely.